Thanks for joining us for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. I'm Kent Justice, your host. And yeah, it's the home office edition. And believe it or not, it's an international edition. We'll get to that in a moment. But, Northeast Florida is really in the middle of a pretty remarkable movement, or moment, I should say. It's one defined by rapid growth, new investment, transformation of the regional economy. So we're talking about from advanced manufacturing to logistics, aviation, financial technology. Jacksonville really no longer just competing with the major markets, partnering with them now. Today, we're looking at one of the clearest signals yet that Jacksonville's innovation economy is accelerating. Marks is a global corporation innovation specialist. They've helped build more than 90 programs around the world, and they've chosen Jacksonville as home for the newest initiative. It's called Jax Hub. We're going to talk about that. And yes, this is a story about one such project, but it's also about what the project says for where Northeast Florida is heading. So let me introduce our guest today. Joining me now, Daniel Saunders, the CEO of Marks. This is a leader in driving corporate innovation. And really, Daniel, as you explained for us today, a key architect of this Jax Hub vision. So why don't you start there? Tell us about your company and why this new initiative includes Jacksonville.
Thanks, Kent. I know it's a real pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me on. Jax Hub is a really exciting initiative for us. Marks, the firm, we were founded just over 10 years ago, and the core of why we founded Marks was to support large or traditional organizations to identify, validate, and implement innovative solutions. The core to successful innovation is around collaboration, and by organizations working together, we end up seeing some real transformational impact to them and also the local ecosystem. So as you mentioned, we've created dozens of these innovation programs. In fact, we're well over 100 at this point, 123, I think, at the last count. All these programs are about supporting organizations discover the best solutions from across the globe, bring them to them, and then see that innovation deployed. As Marks, you can hear, I'm a British firm. We were founded in the UK, but we expanded to the US several years ago. But we really see Florida as a whole as a very exciting market, but Jacksonville specifically as a really exciting place as it starts to grow in the innovation world, and seeing that, you mentioned some of those sectors earlier, how actually Jacksonville could become one of the global leaders in those sectors.
You answered that question I teased about. We're an international show. Are you in London today? Is that correct?
Today I'm in London. Next week I'll be back in the US. I do find myself back and forth quite a bit.
Have you found a direct flight to Jacksonville yet?
Not yet. We're still crossing our fingers for that one.
Yeah, that's something I think is important in our region, something I've talked with some of our city leaders about. We've got to get that direct flight going here because of some of the expansion of the partnerships, the other companies are saying we want to not just do business in Jacksonville or Northeast Florida, but maybe have regional headquarters there and that sort of thing. So let's talk about the regional context and maybe the partnership impact here. I know Jacksonville's financial services sector's been a pillar of our local economy like a decade or more. How does Jax Hub build on maybe that legacy and position the region for kind of the next generation of fintech growth?
Yeah, so when we as Marks were looking at the industries in Florida, we were actually directed across the state and looking at the different sectors and industries that from a government perspective, where actually they saw some true leadership. And obviously the likes of the hospitality sector down in South Florida, and obviously Space Coast and the aerospace industry, but life science, healthcare, and of course the financial services. And there was an MOU signed between the British government and Governor DeSantis a couple of years back. And part of the aims of that was to create a fintech corridor between the two countries. And Jax Hub is a direct output of that. It's about ensuring that there is this fintech corridor between the UK and Florida, but specifically, even more so, is within Jacksonville and looking globally about bringing those fintech businesses to Jacksonville. The financial services in Jacksonville, it's got a real strong heritage. You've got some fantastic businesses who are based there, some financial services firms, and of course, the likes of PaySafe, who are anchor partner for Jax Hub, a British firm which established its US operations in Jacksonville a few years back. And it's really exciting to see how these financial firms are going to be working together to create that fintech cluster.
Yeah, so a couple of things you mentioned there. Let's start with PaySafe, and I know University of North Florida is one of they're the founding co-partners here with you, or what have you. How do those partnerships kind of reflect, I guess we'd say, the ecosystem of what's happening in Northeast Florida?
Yeah, so I mentioned it, I teased at the start about the secret to successful innovation, and it is around collaboration. It is around organizations working together. And actually, true innovation comes through humility. It's through people recognizing where they're great and where actually they can benefit from working with others. And that's how these great innovation initiatives and industries grow. So what's been so wonderful is to work with the likes of PaySafe to understand their growth and the solutions they're delivering to their customers, and seeing how can that be amplified by bringing in other innovation. But then equally working with the university and with the student body and seeing how can we leverage their keen insight, their innovative thinking, and elevate them at the same time into real world technology experiences. So all of these things coming together is what makes it such a fantastic, exciting area to be working in.
Really like what you just said about humility being a key there in innovation. Yeah, what an important element as a business leader to be able to share and say, okay, I know where I'm strong, I know where I'm not. Let me seek out someone else who's better in that area where I can use that help. I love that. Let me go back to another point you made. The UK Florida Memorandum of Understanding really kind of laid the groundwork for some more collaboration. How does this program maybe demonstrate Jacksonville or Northeast Florida and kind of the growing international ties that we're seeing, including with L Marks?
Yes. So the MOU that was signed between Florida and the UK was signed in Jacksonville, the actual location of where this initiative took place. And so that's it firstly put that stamp on the map of whereas people perhaps in the past have looked at Florida and thought Miami or Orlando, but it really started to elevate that position. And it's been a key driver from both governments, from the likes of Florida Commerce and the British Department of Business and Trade, to see that these things are not just pieces of paper. These aren't just documents that we just sign just to hit some political agenda. It's to actually deliver a real impact. And how can the public servants create initiatives like this MOU that will deliver benefit to their citizens? And so things like Jax Hub and L Marks coming to Florida, investing in Florida, establishing operations there, building a team there, creating jobs is just that first step to then see us attract other businesses to that region. Again, working together, working collaboratively, working with humility to actually see everyone benefit. It'll see that the businesses benefit, it'll see the community benefit. And that's, again, what's really exciting about this.
So let's maybe transition and talk about the program structure, local benefits, that sort of thing. And I think what I'm looking for is maybe the practical nature of this. What does Jax Hub practically mean for the people who live in this region, the business leaders here, that sort of thing?
So Jax Hub, it's a collaboration program. It's where we'll see the private sector, the public sector, the academic partners come together to solve real world challenges. So with the guidance of PaySafe, they've been identifying areas of the business which would benefit from innovative solutions. Through Jax Hub, we are leveraging our global scouting network to find businesses who can deliver solutions to those challenges, to those opportunities. Right now, the scouting team globally is finding these businesses, is speaking to these businesses, and we found some really, really interesting companies out there. And we're going to be bringing them to Jacksonville, of where they're going to be piloting their solutions in situ in Jacksonville with PaySafe in partnership with the university. What this will do will be attracting businesses to the region. It will be solving business challenges, and it will be engaging with the student body where they're going to be working with the entrepreneurs, with PaySafe, and to see those solutions deployed and then investments within the region. So it's an all-encompassing program that is delivering on challenges, engaging the local community, and actually delivering on jobs and growth.
UNF's role, as you're describing it here, I mean, so we know that's going to include graduate students, analytics support. How important is kind of the local talent pipeline in building a sustainable ecosystem here for innovation?
Yeah. So it's crucial. Having strong talent is crucial for an innovation ecosystems, and we've seen how innovation ecosystems grown up across the world. Obviously, in London, Berlin, and Tel Aviv, and of course on the West Coast as well. It's come about through individuals. It comes about to people with skills, and you need to have skills in order to see ecosystems grow. So what we're going to see here is businesses globally come to the region, but then they will be attracting the workforce locally. So you're going to see global innovators engaging with local students and local workforce, which will elevate them and give them those jobs. But equally, you get this entrepreneurial osmosis. As more innovators come into a region, it will breed more homegrown innovation. And that's what we've seen in other economies across the globe, how you have um, individuals seeing how innovators work, how entrepreneurs work, and how businesses are formed, and then build their own businesses. Again, looking to tackle those challenges which large organizations can set for them.
We can be a huge impact by seeing that example walk through the process right in front of them, I think. So I really like hearing that. I don't want to focus entirely on fintech or what have you, but I know as I'm looking at maybe even what PaySafe has talked about, they've talked about some innovation categories and trying to align them with the trends shaping the global financial sector. Are there certain things in the financial industry because of PaySafe's connection that you want to see or expect to see innovated here?
So the term fintech is a very broad term, right? And you can see all
Right.
manner of different innovations going on. Uh, I'll say the dreaded AI word because it had to come out at some point. But obviously, a lot of the solutions that we're seeing are innovative solutions that are leveraging AI. Um, but we're being very technology agnostic to what we're looking for. It's about finding the best solutions, and we're looking at different ways of you people can manage their money, different way that the family-friendly way of managing money, and then how you can create more efficient processes. I mean, there's dozens of solutions out there, and it's about triaging and finding the best ones. Um, but like you started off there, I'm interested in outside of finance too, because Jax Hub is focused on the financial services, focused on PaySafe. But this is just the beginning, and there is so much opportunity to drive innovation across the region, not just in the financial services. And you mentioned some of those industries earlier. And having spent now several months in Jacksonville and just seeing the scale of the excitement that there is to innovate across different sectors, I'm very excited about what's going to happen next.
So let's go there a little bit. So there's when we talk about innovation culture and economic development, there's a wild card category here, which it seems like is intentionally broad when I researched this. When you think about maybe unconventional ideas, could some of them address some of the challenges that are unique to fast-growing regions like Jacksonville?
I mean, you're absolutely right. We always have a wild card in our innovation labs. It's one of you don't know what you don't know, and therefore being able to be able to capture those insights and those innovative ideas that can apply to PaySafe, but then equally could apply across different businesses as well. And we've seen how we'll have one solution that perhaps has been tailored for the financial sector could actually be ported and play a part in the aviation sector. And what's really exciting is to see how can we port these innovative solutions from one industry to another. And looking at Jacksonville, obviously you've got the big investment into the airport, transportation and logistics, and on and on and on and on. There are so many different areas where innovation can play in the region.
Mayor Donna Deegan has called Jax Hub a catalyst. So, from your perspective, what kind of ripple effects are there? Talent, investment, new companies, those sorts of things. What kind of things do you anticipate over the next few years?
So I want Jacksonville to become globally recognized as a center for financial innovation. And that's the starting point of Jax Hub. It's by first with PaySafe, but then with other financial services firms, helping them to discover financial or innovative solutions for the financial sector globally, bringing that together and seeing that grow. So you end up going to see the local businesses develop their own financial innovations and international investors coming in and growing that global center for financial innovation. So what's going to be the impact? We're going to see an impact of the business community growing. We're going to see that growth in jobs and a skilled workforce. And that's just in stage one of the financial sector. And then we start going into other sectors. It's going to be tremendous.
Again, doing research on Marks, I see that the company you really helped transform sectors in Europe and Asia. What kind of lessons did you learn on those international stages that would impact Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, to make it a long-term asset for the region, like you just described?
So, as I mentioned, I've been operating out in the US for a few years. What I've come to love around Northeast Florida, around Jacksonville, it is this incredible open mindset. And it comes at that point about humility. If you look at effective innovation ecosystems in different places we've operated, it's those organizations and it's those regions who have actually operated with humility, with an openness, with a keen interest in working with other partners. And that's what I expect to see. And just by the people that I'm working with, that's what I expect to see going forward, is seeing how these organizations will be working together.
Maybe we wrap up here, talk about long-term vision for Jacksonville and beyond. Daniel Saunders, let's say 3 to 5 years from now, when people talk about Jacksonville as a tech and fintech city, what do you hope that they'll be saying because of the groundwork that Marks is laying with Jax Hub?
So Jacksonville, as I mentioned, is going to be a recognized global center for financial innovation, but that's not where it ends. In 3 to 5 years, I want it to be the next Tel Aviv. I want it to be the next Silicon Valley. It's going to be that next place of where you're going to see innovation not just come from businesses, but then also seeing spin-outs from the UNF and from other universities from the region. Obviously, UF just made that new campus in Jacksonville. It's going to become such an exciting hotbed for global innovation.
How do people participate? What's the way that they say, okay, this is for me. I'm an innovator. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be involved. Where do they go next, Daniel?
So, thank you. So, right now, my scouting team is looking globally, but also locally within Jacksonville, finding the best innovators to be a part of their program. So we have an application process. It's on our website, jaxhub.us. Through this forum, people can apply, send their information forward. My team will speak with you, will understand what you do, and we'll see how we can bring you on board into Jax Hub to actually help grow your business, secure your customers, and then deliver on the opportunity areas that we have identified.
Is it kind of a network thing to get people to collaborate? Is there some kind of structure, meetings that we do together? How does that look?
It's a structured program, and I'm a big believer in the structured approach to corporate innovation and time-locked environments. So there's a structured process, putting information forward. We work with each business individually to scope out how would their solution work with PaySafe, and then we work with PaySafe and the innovators to validate their proposition and their technology works, the business case works, the implementation plan works.
Sound pretty excited about this, and what we're talking about is pretty exciting, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, this is why I get up in the morning. This is why we've been doing this for so long.
Daniel Saunders, the CEO of Marks. Thank you so much, and thanks for explaining Jax Hub. Appreciate the time, and glad that we connected even across the Atlantic where you are to here in Florida. Best success as you go forward with this.
Thank you, Ken. Great to meet you.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching and listening to This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. Wherever you get your podcasts, like, subscribe, and follow, and don't forget new episodes come out every Thursday at 9 a.m.